For once, this is something I want. It's not chosen for me, it's not forced on me, it's just my choice. She totally refused. So I kept quiet, but I decided I'm going to fast. It was a week to fasting period. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to fast. At least from there, I'll ask God, I'll talk to God directly to give me a way forward. So I started fasting without the Shahada. I remember telling Fatma to help me with the prayers, how to do wudu, how to do salah. So she told me, you know what, YouTube has everything. Assalamu alaikum. My birth names are Sheblan Juma, but the short form, since it's always hard for many people call me Sheba. So I was raised in a family of 5 kids and two parents, both alive till date. I'm the 4th born, 2 elder sisters, a big brother, then me, then my small sister. I was born and raised in Nairobi, basically, from an average background, not rich, not poor, but we managed fine. Started my schooling within Nairobi. Then at class 3, I went to a Catholic primary school. While there, I undertook catechism. I went for the Christian way of everything. So I got baptized there in class 8. Everything happened there. I passed very well. I was called to Kisumu Girls. That's where I went for my high school. It's a school that it was not biased. We had both Christians and Muslims. Everyone was allowed to be in school. So I was taken to a class that didn't have Muslims, but I was closer to the Muslim girls in school. But at the end of the day, we were not that much into each other, but I was just interested. So the uniform was blue. Them, they were allowed to have the white hijab and everything. So Form 1 to Form 4 was smooth, though at Form 3 I got sick. I missed a whole term, third term. Form 3, third term, I was hospitalized and I went surgery. It took like 3 months. I had 3 surgeries at that time and I came out fine. Went back to school. I was advised to repeat since I missed a whole term, but I refused. I believed in myself so much. So I went to Form 4 in 2012, did my KCSE, passed very well, and was called to University of Nairobi. But I didn't join immediately. I finished in 2012, then a whole year I was at home. Then from there, during that 1 year, 2013 period, when the results came out and everything, fresh from high school, you want to experiment everything. I met a guy, we got close, ended up pregnant, had my first kid. Had my first kid when I had joined campus. Then I didn't know because I was still naive. Let's put it like that. I was naive, but I realized I was pregnant when I had already enrolled in campus. So after my first semester is when the whole fiasco, the whole pregnancy issue became known to the family and everyone, even to myself. I was like, wow, this is big, this is negative, this is major. So I accepted my fate, had my kid in June 19th, 2014. The same year I had joined campus, you can imagine. It was during exam period. So I did some exams, I didn't do some exams. And I kind of gave up in life at that point because I was like, I'm a young mom at 19. But my mom came through. She was very encouraging. She was like, you're not the first one to have a kid. At least you are in campus. So we'll figure it out. As much as it was not an easy path for her to realize her daughter who just joined campus is now pregnant with a kid. It was a whole roller coaster for the moment, but things worked out fine. I went home for like 3 months. I thank God there was the holiday period of 3 months. So I was recuperating after birth and everything, so I went back to school. But after that, I felt like I'm burdening my parents because I had a kid and they were taking care of the kid. So I disappeared from home in December, telling myself I'll go and hustle outside here, go back to school and do everything right. Only to meet another guy, got pregnant. I ran away from home met another guy, decided to stay with the guy so that at least I was like, I'll make it easy on myself. I won't even rush or anything. But staying with the guy comes with its own consequences. So I got pregnant again. I got a son this time. And he started, the disappearing acts came after I gave birth to my son, who at some point also I had the option of aborting, but I realized if I didn't abort the first kid, why would I do the second one? So I accepted my fate again. So when the guy disappeared, like at 6 weeks, when the kid was 6 weeks, I decided to go back home. If it's bad, we'll figure it out. So I went back home. My parents were really disappointed, like, you disappeared, you came back with a kid, we have no choice. So what do you want? I really apologized through texts and actions. I tried, but I knew it took them time to accept all my actions, which were on the negative side for them. So I decided I'm going back to school again. At that point, I was really depressed, but I had to figure myself out. Given that I'm now a mother, I had to find ways. So I decided I'm going back to school. This time was like, I'm very serious. I'm not meeting guys. I'm not dating. I'm not anything. Which was quite a drama, because at that time I was 21, still young, but at least I felt like my mind has opened up. So I went back to school. I realized I had arrears. So I came back home and told my family members. I told my sister in Dubai, my sister who is in Nairobi, and my parents. I told them there's this arrears in school. This is what's going on. They were like, are you sure you really want to go back to school? I was like, yeah, I want to go back to school. So they said they'll cater for the fee. I find my own upkeep. So at that point, my mom gave me 500 shillings. Then I was like, what will I do with this? So I went to Kikomba. I bought tops, the 20, 30 shilling tops, came home, washed them, ironed them, started selling them when I was not in class. So at some point, it was the business was booming, so I had upkeep for some good time. Then at some point, I think my mind went to the focus on the money, because I was like, I have to cater for my kids, I have to do this, I have to do this. So I felt like the money was more important. So at some point, I didn't say I deferred kabisa. I just deferred at some point, but I was like, I'll come back. I missed like a whole week or two because of dropping clothes at offices and to my classmates in campus. So because the money was good at that point, I kind of dropped out of school for a week. But I realized if I drop out without a letter, the day I'll be coming back will be an issue. So I wrote a deferment letter and said that I had financial constraints, so I'll be leaving school for some time. I figure myself out financially, then come back and study. So that's how it happened in campus. Some friends were supportive, some were like, no. But I had to choose my path then. So that was around 2017. So when I chose to go back to school, it meant I had to stop working, because I realized I could not balance work and class. It really hit me, because anytime you decide to work, I'll have to forgo school. So I decided this is going to be a challenge, let me forgo work. So I chose to go back to school. I went and talked to my mom. We reached an agreement. At some point, for once that day, felt me and mom on some aspect we were at par. And she was very supportive. She said she'll take the kids. I cater for myself. If I'm going back to school this time, I start, they'll see where to come in. Because they cannot take me to school, then I leave. This time it's me to take myself back to school. Then they'll see how it goes. So I went and wrote my letters, but I didn't take them to school. I just wrote them like a draft copy. At that time, I had called my sister in Dubai and told her, I'm enrolling back to school, and we are being told that we'll be using gadgets, so that's either a phone or a laptop. And I told her my phone is so bad, and the work I did, I still have some money. Would you mind getting me a second-hand laptop from Dubai? She was like, let me go and check the price, then I'll get back to you. Which it took her 2 days, because she's also at work. I had to understand. I was to pick my laptop on a particular day, but I was like, my school is not giving reply about the letter that I had waited from December. So at some point I felt depressed, because now that I've decided to go back to school, I'm not seeing any progress. I'm just saying, okay, my school staff are coming, but the school itself is not working out. So I got depressed and I felt like, now that I've decided and things are not working, me, I'm done. I'm done, kabisa. I was so done that I was like, today is that day, I'm going to let go. But it hit me that I'm a mom. I cannot just wake up and say I'm done. I had to figure myself out. So at that time, I remember I was talking to a friend of mine from high school. Her name was Yasmin. So I don't know what really hit me. I was telling her, I'll come and visit you. So when I visited her, she asked me how I'm doing. I was so open with her. Then I was like, anyway, the way you're dating a Muslim guy, do you know at some point he may want you to be a Muslim? I was like, it's not even about him. If you have to ask me if I want to be a Muslim, I can tell you I've been wanting it. It's just that I don't know the steps. I don't know about it. So she was like, you know what? I have a Quran, the English translated one. That's easy for you. Would you mind? I was like, give me. You know, I love books. So she gave me the Quran. I went with it at home. I came at home. I didn't even read it. I just kept it in my bag just to avoid, because I know my sister, when she sees books that she doesn't know how they came about, because she'll question, why are you having a Quran? So I just kept it within my clothes. I hid it in a way. So I kept following on my school stuff. The letter, it didn't come through. An uncle of mine called me and told me like that my mom had called him concerning school. He asked me if I'm okay. I told him I'm not okay. He asked me what's the problem. I told him I'm feeling depressed. I think I'm depressed. Then he asked me, how do you know you're depressed? I told him, this is what I'm feeling, this and this and this. He was like, anyway, you're depressed. So what do you want? Are you okay? I told him, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. He told me, send me the copy of the letter. I sent him the copy of the letter because he knew somebody who knew somebody within the school. Within 2 days, the reply came. He told me, are you now okay? I was like, no, I'm okay. I paid my fee, started going to class. My laptop had not yet come. And when my laptop came, the day my laptop was to arrive, it was to arrive on a Wednesday morning. But on the Tuesday night, it was hectic. I could not sleep. I was sleepless. I was restless. I was everything. And that was the time I felt so suicidal. Like, I think I was so bottom. My sister was sleeping. I didn't even wake up to tell her what I'm feeling. I was just like, I'm done. But I pushed myself. Because I remember that time I was even telling myself, go to the kitchen, take the knives, do this, do that. But I pushed myself and told myself, if my laptop is coming tomorrow morning, I can't disappoint myself. It's not even other people. I can't disappoint myself. So I pushed myself to sleep. And imagine I slept. I forced myself to sleep. But the friend of my sister who was traveling called me at around 4, told me she's at the airport. I should meet her at Easy Coach, the one in town. So I go to town by 5. I'm sitting waiting at the waiting room. The thoughts come back, very suicidal. You know, in the morning, the way they had the rush hour and everything. So I was now being pushed. Now that you're not at home, what will you do to ease this pain and void and emptiness? So I was like, the vehicles are so many. The matatus can just come and smash you as you. And we'll call it an accident, you know, that we can call an accident. It was not seen, it was not planned. But in my head, I was like, you're planning it, so it's wrong. So I felt like I need to talk to somebody because the thoughts were like, the voices were getting louder and louder and louder. And I was like, I cannot take this anymore. So I ended up telling myself, you know what, let me call my sister who I'm staying with. So when things go bad, at least she knows. So I call her, I tell her, I'm at Easy Coach, I'm feeling like this and it's not okay. My chest is compressed, I'm choking and everything, and my mind is not in the correct state. Then she was like, let me come where you are. I told her, no, don't come. Let me just talk to you. Let me talk it out. Let me do everything. Then she was like, okay, talk. If you're done, tell me where you are specifically. I come. I told her, no, I'll just come home. If I don't come home, just know you'll find me along the street coming home from Easy Coach. I won't take any vehicle to come home. So I pushed myself. I got my laptop. And when I met that girl, I was so happy. I was smiling. Nobody could tell my mind is in a mess. But I had to push myself. Every day, I was telling myself at every minute, you're a mom, you're a sister, you're a daughter, you're a mom, so I had to do it. So I reached home, I broke down. Literally, I cried. I don't know why I was crying. I was just in pain. Not that headache or anything. I was just in pain. I don't know how to handle the pain. So it's when I told my sister, I've been feeling like this for so long. Then she told me, why didn't you talk? I was like, how would I say it? How do you come and tell somebody this is what I'm feeling? And it's not something, okay, for us, I don't know, it's the African society or it's just the generation. You don't know how to express some things. So she was like, it's okay, we are here for you. You now have your laptop. Why would you kill yourself? You were already in school, your letter came through. Why would you? I just told her, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. Then she told me, you know me, I'm going to work. Don't do something that will disappoint me or mom. I know you love being alone. You call yourself an introvert. So don't do something that will disappoint us. So I was like, it's okay. So at that point, I think she had gone to a neighbor who is a counselor and told her, my sister is going through a depression phase. Can you talk to her? Because I'm going to work. I cannot monitor her. Go and talk to her. So the lady came. She's a very nice woman. She told me she was 71 then. She talked to me. She told me why I'm feeling some type of way. I told her, this is what I've been feeling. I gave her a whole script of everything. She told me, you're just focusing on the negative. You're not supposed to be focusing on that. So if anytime you feel that bad, look at the good. Even if it's for a day, you woke up, you've eaten, you've dressed, you're okay, you have a roof over your head. Never focus on the bad. Yes, the bad is bad. It has already happened. The past will pain you every day. You'll feel disappointed. You'll feel you're a disappointment. So don't focus on that. Just be yourself. Accept yourself. The biggest thing I'll tell you is to accept yourself. Go back, do your soul searching, and accept yourself. With that, it will be easy. So I was like, okay. So after the lady left, I remember I wanted to like feel this about myself. I went and showered. I went to the suitcase that I had kept the Quran. I even forgot about the Quran at that time. I went and showered and went to that bag because that's where I put my nice outfits. So when I was looking through the outfits, I saw the Quran. Then I was like, wow, I was given this book and I've never taken a chance to read it. Let me read it today. So I look at the book. I remember it's written from the back. I remember opening the first page. Then I was like, I'm seeing page 604 this side, but let me try from the other end. So I remember opening page 1, reading Surah Al-Fatiha. Then I was like, basic English. I read it, then slept. Around December is when I was like, I need to read this book now properly. Nyachi jokes, stop joking around. So I was going through it, started asking myself, if I'm reading this book, let me ask myself where this whole thing started, this feeling of wanting to be a Muslim. So I remembered in high school, I was hanging around my Muslim schoolmates. And at that time, I remember there was Yasmin, there was Shamim, there was Ashad. You would ask them questions, they'd answer you. And it was very fun. Then it hit me, if I finished Form 4 in 2012, then it has taken me a whole 10 years or 9 years to realize what I'm supposed to do. I started questioning myself, what's my purpose in life? Because it was not coming through very well. Then I was like, oh, there was a time you're reading, you are into reading. So I was like, let me go back to reading. I got an app for novels. But it was not feeling it. I was not feeling it. Then I was like, maybe there was something else I was reading. Then it hit me, I was reading the Quran at some point, and it was so calming. So that's when I was like, I should go back. I should go back and do my thing. So I did my Quran. And with time, I was like, the same chapter, Surah Al-Fatiha, it was my go-to chapter. Every time I was feeling off, go to that chapter. As much as I didn't, I was reading the English version, which was very much okay with me because I was internalizing every time. So there is this sentence. Verse, verse, most gracious, most merciful. Yeah, that was what used to hit me because I reached there, I could not continue. I'd feel like I have so much baggage. And if I'm having this baggage, it means I'm carrying a lot. How do I go about it? So if he's the most gracious, he's the most merciful, meaning he'll forgive me, whatever the circumstance. At the same time, I remembered when the counselor told me, at some point you need to accept yourself. Look into yourself and accept yourself. At that point, you'll forget about your past. So I did that. With the statement in mind and the advice from that lady, I did that. I went through soul searching. I really kept up with my friends at that point. So I was asking myself, where did I go wrong? What was I doing? What happened to me? Because the way I knew myself and the way and what I was doing and how I know myself right now, it's like I'm growing up. So I need to either learn new stuff or unlearn stuff. When the year started, basically, I had met new Muslim friends. So I decided I'm going to keep fit. Let me start a new hobby or something. I did the fitness. I started doing the exercises. I can't say I was so big or so small. Just felt like, let me do something to activate my mind. So I met Fatma there, and Fatma had health issues, and she was like, if I do exercise, I'll be in check. So that's how me and Fatma really got close. So I asked her, by the way, I hear they call you Tuma. What's your name in full? She told me Fatma. I was like, you're Muslim? She was like, yeah. You didn't know? I was like, I didn't know. Though she was like, hey, that's nice. By the way, I started asking her questions here and there. Some questions I feel like you're just answering me from the basis of what you are taught. I thought you knew your religion. You are somebody who's in check. So she was like, Aina Shida, so if you have any other questions, if I can answer you, I'll answer you. If I don't know, just tell you the truth. I don't know, which she used to do. So with time, I met other friends. So I'd ask them, and they'd ask me, why do you keep asking questions? Do you want to join us? I was like, you don't worry. I'll tell you when the time is right. So that's how it went. So when it was almost Ramadan time, I just told Fatima, you know what? I feel like fasting with you guys this year. Then she was like, are you sure? You know fasting is no joke. I was like, how hard can it be? Then she told me, you know, when you fast, you're supposed to, you don't just deny yourself food and keep it like that. So I was like, okay, we'll see about it. So remember, I had told her I'm looking for somebody who understands deen. So there is a neighbor of mine, a married man. So me and my confidence, sometimes I'm very confident, sometimes I'm very shy. So me that day I mastered confidence and courage. And I approached this man. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. Then I asked him, this and this about deen. He was like, oh, you want to be a Muslim? I was like, yeah. How is your family taking it? I just told him, okay, I haven't told my family or anything. Then he told me, come to me after you have an opinion from your parents. So I was like, it's not fair. It's something I want, it's not them. But you told me sometimes it's important when your parents have a say. So I went back. It took me courage to ask my parents. So the person who I really feared most among my parents is my mom. And she was the first person who I asked. So I was like, Mom, can I ask you something? She was like, mm-hmm. I was like, how do you feel about Islam? She was like, I know it's a religion, but me, I don't like it. Then I was like, what if I become a Muslim? So she was very calm, but she told me, it will never happen, it cannot happen, she will not accept it. And I was like, this is not fair. This is not fair. This is for once, this is something I want. It's not chosen for me, it's not forced on me, it's just my choice. She totally refused. So I kept quiet, but I decided I'm going to fast. It was a week to fasting period. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to fast. At least from there, I'll ask God, I'll talk to God directly to give me a way forward. So I started fasting without the Shahada. I remember telling Fatma to help me with the prayers, how to do wudu, how to do salah. So she told me, you know what, YouTube has everything. I have my phone, I have my laptop. Who is me? I went and downloaded stuff, the 2 rakah one. I started with the 2 rakah. So I'd use my laptop for some time with my phone to hear, to internalize, and follow the steps. I did that for about 3 weeks. My sister realized I was fasting in between the 3 weeks. She started watching my moves so much and my dressing. I got comfortable putting on daras. I can't say I stopped literally. I just reduced my normal outfits, the tight dresses, the trousers and everything. Or if I had them, I'd have a longer dress on. So she used to ask me, hey, why have you changed? Why do you? Nowadays, we don't even ask for salon money. I was like, I'm comfortable with my hair like this. I even feel like shaving. She was like, Usinyoe, don't cut your hair. But in case you want, just tell me, I'll give you the money. I never asked her for money. So I decided to do my turban 24/7. morning to evening. Send me to the market, send me to the shops. I'm in my turban. I didn't choose to do the hijab then, but I'd try to maintain the fasting. So, you know, the 4 a.m. you wake up, prepare yourself, you eat before you fast. In the beginning, it was easy, though it was done in hiding, because I'd wake up, you don't turn on the lights, you go and turn on the kitchen lights, you take whatever you can take when you're done. I even, at some point, I prayed from the kitchen, just not to interfere with the other people in the house. So she realized. So there was a time at 4 when my alarm rang, she woke up. She was just looking at me. She was in the sitting room. She was like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to the toilet. But I took my time because I had gone to the toilet, I went to the kitchen, I did everything. So she realized, like, I wake up and eat. So it reached a point she used to say, cook exact food. So, you know, after supper, the food is finished. When I wake up, there's nothing to eat. So, you know, I just decide, you know what, I'll use water. Because that's the best I can do. I want to go to someone's house at 4 a.m. to take the meal with them, because it's also awkward for me to visit people. I used to find it awkward going to people's houses. So I'd do that. I'd use water with no dates and anything. In the evening, when Fatma remembers or she has something, she'll call me, come and eat. And we go ahead. So it went on for some time until my sister just asked me, are you fasting? I was like, yeah, I'm fasting. Why are you fasting? So fasting is a form of prayer, so it's not a big deal. But she was like, are you fasting as a Christian, as a Muslim? Are you fasting as... I was like, I'm fasting. You just know I'm fasting. But it went bad because she went and told my mom. And when my mom heard, she was like, she really never called me directly. I think she just came to confirm. And the day she came, we were just cool and okay. She never commented. It's like she came to confirm, but she never realized anything off. So she went back to work because she works a lot. She's a driver, so she travels a lot within the country. Sometimes she's in Nairobi, sometimes she's in Kisumu, Mombasa, anywhere, according to her posts of work. So at some point, on the day I took my Shahada, my sister was not around. She had gone for some field work in Nakuru, then to Mombasa. She was in and out of Nairobi for some time. My mom also was not around. So it was me and her daughter, and my kids were also around for the holidays. So that day I was like, let me go and see Fatma, then come back and finish my chores. As I wait for Maghrib, I open. So while I was leaving the house, you know where I'm staying is nearer to the mosque. And remember the married man I had consulted, I had already told him my reply. So he had gone and told like some other people at the mosque and told them there's a girl who wants to be a Muslim, but her parents are like not ready to accept that. So what do we do? So there was this guy who I think remembered, and he saw me passing and he asked me, come here. I was like, yes, salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Are you okay? I'm okay. I got wind that you wanted to be Muslim. I was like, yes, I want to be Muslim. Are you ready? I was like, yes, I'm ready. Are you sure? I'm ready. Are you ready? Ready? You know, when you take your Shahada, it's a done deal. Like, there's no going back, because if you go back, I'm not discouraging you, but you have to be sure what you're doing. If you go back, like, your life may never be the same. So I was like, I'm ready. I've been ready. It's just that I don't know, and I've never seen women come to the mosque. Then she was like, he was like, if you're ready, then you can say a Shahada right now.